Welcome to episode 12 of Running with the Herd here on KNED 1150 AM, 98.3 FM. It is 8:37 in the morning on your Monday, November the 11th. 50 degrees outside. Last week we had McAlester Lady Buffs basketball. This week we have McAlester Buffalo basketball with head coach Mike Dooney, the McAlester Boys basketball team. Coach, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us, Frank.
Yeah, thank you. Again, it's Monday. Trying to turn on all our mics here. We're good to go. Yes, Coach Dooney, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
All right, so again, this show brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive. So we'll get started right out of the gate. You've been now with the Buffaloes for a full season now. Going into season 2, what has it been like getting the gig, and how have you liked it so far?
So far, it's been great. I love the community. I love the community support that we got. Our kids are working hard. We were really young last year, so getting to see their maturity and their growth and just their bodies change from being in the weight room and getting bigger and stronger and faster and taller. It's been a lot of fun for us.
So when you were getting this job and you were looking at McAlester, when you got the call that, this is yours, I mean, what was that feeling like?
Well, because I had known from coaching at Idabel what it was like at McAlester and the support that they had here and the fan base that they had here, the athletes that I'd seen come through here. I knew it'd be a really good job. I was excited about having it. So as far as whenever I received the job, I was thrilled. I like our AD. When we interviewed with each other, I was really impressed with all the things he was telling me. Having the new gym was going to be a big plus. Knowing we had good young kids coming up, I didn't see anything wrong with the job. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you coached over at Southeastern too, right?
Yes, sir.
There we go. So I graduated from Southeastern, so sweet there. What's the offseason been like getting ready for year 2?
So a lot of development, trying to get some of our younger guys ready to get some depth in our lineup. Most of our guys that have experience are in football right now. Pouncel's been hurt, so these other guys, getting them to step up and give us good run in practice and see who we can use as far as, the 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in the rotation.
So that's a kind of a bonus question I have for you here. When you get to basketball season, knowing it's coming off of football season, you have some of the people that you've have experience playing in football. What is it like getting them up to speed in such a short amount of time?
That's something the staff and I were just talking about. And do you, depending upon when they do finish, do you give them some time off, or because we are young, do we get them rolling right away? And that's a hard question to answer. Mm-hmm. So I don't know right now what we're going to do. Depends how their bodies are feeling and can we get that turned around, because our first half of our season is a little bit easier schedule-wise than our second half of the season. So we want them to be ready to come in and start winning games right away. But in that same time, we don't want to kill their bodies.
Right, and that's a question that we've always had as broadcasters when we know that the football season just ends and maybe they play the next Tuesday. You're like, well, how much run are we going to see from these guys? But and you mentioned the schedule. How do you feel about district realignment after having district play for 1 year last year? And after you answer that question, what do you think about district play in general after having, what was more so coaches' rankings before that?
So with districts, I've enjoyed it. The problem with the coaches' rankings was it was really political. I had a lot of coaching friends, so it normally worked out my benefit, but it was political and you had to know people and you had to have the right people in the right positions. So
right.
It wasn't necessarily your best teams coming through every time, and it depended on what site you got sent to. With the districts, I like it a lot better because it's what do you do on the court and you line up with your record across from whoever you should be across from. So I've liked that a lot better.
Yeah, and I was talking about that with Coach Bashir's last week. She was saying, it's hard for people that are playing each other in Tulsa in the same class or maybe going up to 6A to play some teams. It's hard for them to be able to see just how tough a team like Idabel or Broken Bow or Hugo is, and they might be better than a lot of the 5A teams that McAlester plays or had played in the past. But what do you think about the new district? I mean, you still have some of the new teams coming in, but now you welcome in teams like Pryor and Tahlequah. What do you feel about where McAlester shakes up in all them?
So Holland Hall moved out of our class. That helped us.
Whew.
Yeah, that helped. And they lost some players, but they moved. One of their better players had moved, but just not having them, they were the best team in our side district-wise.
Right.
the teams that we brought in compared to the teams that we lost, I'm more excited about our alignment this year. I think we have a better draw this year than we had last year. I think we have better kids. They've matured this year, so we have a better chance of competing, and I think we should do a much better showing this year than what we had last year.
And Coach, you were mentioning a ton of youth last year. At times we did see 5 underclassmen on the court at the same time. And although the season didn't go the way you wanted it to, again, you gave some really talented teams a run for their money. I know for just off the top of my head, Sepulpa on their senior night. So, or I guess that was senior day at that time. But how much do you think that experience for the young guys is going to pay off for you this year? You already mentioned it a little bit here.
So one of the things I've been talking to a lot of our players about is life is either happening to you or it's happening for you. And last year we were hoping we were going to get some of these football guys out, and they would have gave us some more experience. They'd played varsity experience. So why I say life is happening to you or for you, I believe it happened for us last year because all my young guys got the experience. We didn't get those football guys out. So why it happened for us is you don't want to have to play freshmen at 5A basketball, and we started 3 last year. So it ended up long haul, it's going to pay off a lot more for us. So I believe it was a really good thing that the season went the way it did last year, and the kids that played, and the ones that didn't, because the ones that got the experience, it's going to be really good for them in the future.
Awesome. And who are some players that you see being big-time leaders for you this year?
We're really young, really young. So
it's pretty much all of them.
Yeah. And that, let me get the football guys in there, and we'll see how that shakes out. Last year we had 2 guys that had any kind of high school experience at all.
Right.
This year we're going to have 4 guys that have high school experience and a lot of it. So even though we're young, we're a lot more mature than we were last year.
All right, Coach, we'll take a break. We're going to be speaking with a couple of your players coming up in just a moment. This is Running with the Herd, episode 12. It's brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort food 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Barlow Built Performance and Automotive is your full-service automotive repair shop, including brake work and heat and air repair. We do MIG and TIG welding. We're McAllister's only full-time exhaust shop. From race cars, I'm going fast again! To your grandma's cars.
What up, Grandma?
We do it all. We also sell tires and wheels. Barlow Built Performance and Automotive, 1 West Monroe Avenue in McAlester. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 918-318-0323.
8:45 in the morning here on KNED. It's Monday, November the 11th, and we have episode 12 of Running with the Herd with McAlester boys basketball. We just spoke with head coach Mike Dooney. Now we're going to speak with a couple of McAlester basketball players. We have Alex Dooney with us today, and also Davian Pouncil. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So, again, first time I'm guessing on the radio, other than us talking about your games on the radio.
Yes, sir.
So, we're going to make it super easy to get started off here. Starting off with an icebreaker, today's Veterans Day. We'd like to thank all of our brave men and women that serve in our nation's military, wherever you may be. But our next big family get-together is going to be Thanksgiving coming up later this month. So, what is your favorite thing to eat for Thanksgiving?
My grandma and my mom, they both make a really good ham, like a little honey ham.
Honey ham.
I'm more of a ham type of guy.
Yeah.
A ham type of guy?
Yeah, ham.
No, listen, I hate broccoli, but there's something that I think my grandma makes, and it's like broccoli and cheese casserole, and it's just the best. It's so good. Let's go to our first basketball question. How did you guys get your start in basketball? When did you know that, hey, this is a game that I want to play for a long time?
Well, my dad's my coach, so
I think it was pretty much a given.
yeah. So I just kind of have been around basketball my whole life. It really wasn't like a thing that I was not familiar with and then found, it was always been like a staple in my life. It's been a big part of it. So.
Gotcha.
Mine's probably like, my mom she was a really good basketball player, so I kind of grew up playing basketball since like 3rd grade, and I actually started off with football, but once I moved to McAlester, I became a basketball player. So.
All right. And so, as you guys have been having basketball now be a staple in y'all's lives, any favorite player or team that you've been following since you've been following basketball?
Well, I hopped on the bandwagon when I was young, so definitely Steph Curry. That was my
Steph
favorite
Curry.
player, and it's been ever since.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, that's
so.
okay. I'm big Thunder fans here, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame you for being the fan early on.
I guess I'm a bandwagon too. I mean, wherever Damian Lillard goes, I go. So.
Oh, man, 2 Thunder killers. Jeez. Anyway, that's all right. I was a big Dwayne Wade fan, but that was also before the Oklahoma City Thunder came to be, and now, Russell Westbrook's always going to be right there, man. So what have been some of your favorite moments? And again, you guys have only been now playing for McAlester varsity basketball for a year for each of y'all. So what was some of your favorite moments that you've had so far being the McAlester Buffalo basketball player?
Well, mine, just like every morning getting to go into the weight room and be able to bond with my guys and our team meetings and things like that. Like having those social outlets outside of basketball, that's been a lot of fun.
I feel like just getting experience, like varsity minutes as a freshman in 5A, because I feel like I learned a lot from last year and how I can improve this year. So, yeah.
Now, Davey and Coach Dooney was mentioning this, and people can't really see it from the crowd. I mean, they're just, they're seeing, they don't understand how much of a jump it is from junior high to varsity basketball in 1 year. How big of a jump was it for you going from 8th grade to, oh my gosh, these guys are seniors and have been to the dance before?
It was challenging. The speed of the game changed a lot. It's a lot faster in high school than middle school. Defense is better. It's harder to score, and it's just a big jump.
Now, I will say, though, going to give you a lot of credit here. You did adjust pretty fast, especially on the defensive side. So we're excited to see you and how you progress in your varsity career as well. And Alex, we know that you've been playing for a long time here, so we're excited to see how your senior year rolls around. Season does start in less than a month. How excited are you guys to get it rolling?
Oh, I'm ready for it. I'm just counting on the days, waiting for December 3rd to get playing.
Just trying to get healthy for the season. Hopefully I am by the first game.
So we talked about it during the break. What's been the injury status here for Davian?
I broke my ankle during the summer. I came back from that, and then I messed up my rib at practice recently.
When can we maybe? I'm not trying to give you a timeline or anything, but we're gonna get to see you play a little bit this year, though, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, that's all we need to know there. So first game is at Tahlequah on December 3rd. One of the new district opponents. Then our first home game is going to be on the 20th, home against Pryor. So we encourage everyone to make it on out to catch some McAlester basketball games. Hopefully you guys can travel. If you can't, then again, we will have our first home game on December the 20th. What team on the schedule are y'all most looking forward to playing? Memorial, okay.
Is that where everyone had moved to this year?
That's East Central.
East Central. I'm ready to play East Central. Everyone moved into East Central, and I'm ready to give them a run for their money.
Let's go. Okay. Last one's always the fun one here. If you were to pick a trick shot that you could realistically make, give me a trick shot.
Like in a game?
No, not in a game. Just like anywhere on the court. Like a dude perfect trick shot that you would have.
Okay.
If you could choose one. Now, at the old junior high basketball gym that's over there by Peterball, one time I was able to go in there and just mess around. I went to like the top of the stands over at like catty corner, like it was a corner one. That was when I was like, I don't know, like 7th grade.
Yeah.
I made a shot like all the way from the back corner, and I thought that was just the coolest person ever. So there's a video of it somewhere on my Razor, like my Motorola Razor, pixelated and everything.
Do you have yours?
Could be in a gym, could be at your house, could be anywhere.
I don't know if you've seen it, but the Tristan Jazz trick shot where he does like he's standing kind of what you said, like in the stadium, like way up high, and then he like does a little 360 between the legs, and then just chunks it all the way from across the court, and it makes it bounce, and then it bounces into the goal.
Daggone.
Yeah, I seen Tristan Jazz throw it like between the legs from the stands, make it. that's probably what I would want to do.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on. We're going to see you December 3rd. Again, if you cannot make it to Tahlequah, we'll be having all the coverage here on KNDD. So thank you guys for coming by, and we'll see you in a little less than a month. It's coming up. So
excited.
thank you guys for dropping by.
Thanks,
Again,
man.
this is Running with the Herd for the McAlester Boys Basketball Edition here on episode 12. We're going to be wrapping it up, coming up with head coach Mike Dooney in just a moment here on KNED.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort food 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Barlow Built Performance and Automotive is your full-service automotive repair shop, including brake work and heat and air repair. We do MIG and TIG welding. We're McAllister's only full-time exhaust shop. From race cars,
I'm going fast again!
to your grandma's cars,
What up, Grandma?
we do it all. We also sell tires and wheels. Barlow Built Performance and Automotive, 1 West Monroe Avenue in McAlester. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 918-318-0323.
8:53 in the morning here on your Monday, November the 11th. It is 50 degrees outside in McAlester. Actually, 56. We've gone up a little bit here now. As we are about to wrap up episode 12 of Running with the Herd, brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive. We have McAlester Boys basketball coach Mike Dooney with us, and we get to learn a little bit more about Coach Dooney here now.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, Anyway, no, we asked your players. Now we're going to ask you, what was your start in basketball, and what made you want to become a coach?
So my start in basketball was running around the streets. Back whenever I was a kid, you got locked outside the house and you had to go find something to do. So we were always playing a sport. I had a brother that's a year older than me, and we just constantly went and found something that we could do with the neighborhood kids. And we started playing basketball, and I realized I was better than some of them from the start. So I really hooked to it and really wanted to be good. So I put in a lot of time getting good at it. Why I wanted to be a coach, the main reason is because of the coaches that were in my life. And I believe, and I've said this to my parents and my players, that people don't care what you do until they know why you do what you do. And the reason why I am a coach is because I had a football coach that was in my life that, because I'm a foster kid, and I was in a shelter because a family did not have room to take me on their Christmas vacation with them. So instead of getting to go with them on Christmas, they put me into a boys' shelter. My high school principal come and got me out of the shelter because he said I was too good of a kid to be in the shelter, and that my football coach was going to become my foster parent.
Wow.
So I only lived with that football coach for about 6 months, but in that 6 months he showed me how to be a dad, he showed me how to be a man, he showed me how to be what I am today. And I wanted to make the same impact in young men's lives the way that he made in mine.
That's an incredible story. Thank you, Coach, for sharing that with us. That's awesome. Coach, this is now, I was going to ask a different question, but this is one that's also on the docket. This is your opportunity to give a shout out to your support system, your family. Tell us a little bit about them if you want to.
So
You got Alex with us today. You also have your wife with us today as well.
Yeah,
Well, she's over here. Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna call her out here, but yeah, she's filming this as well.
yeah, so you can't be a coach in today's society without a great support system behind you. And if you don't have a wife that's on board and supporting you and pushing you and holding you accountable and being your rock, there's no way that you can stay in the coaching profession because it's just too hard nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So first and foremost, I got to thank my wife because she is always there for us, and she takes care of the boys. She's always cooking for them. She's always bringing them over. She never turns anybody down. If I want to have a team party, she's always right on board doing that. So wonderful support system there. My kids, they take a hold of my basketball teams like their families. So that's always been easy to do what I do because my kids are always on board doing that. So what I mean by that, we've had kids that have come and lived with us. We've had kids that have had to stay with us, or if we have to do something where it goes over and beyond what the basketball court is, my family is always in 100% support of that. And they're looking for those opportunities that we can bless people.
Obviously, I'm sure your upbringing has played a heavy part in kind of that part of your life as well.
Yes.
That's really cool. Now, this wasn't going to be a question, but you mentioned your basketball parties, and it reminded me of some of the pictures that I saw from like right before postseason began, and you guys packed the entire team into your house. So, what are some of those parties like? The bonding that you get to have with your team in situations like that.
So that, I believe, is one of the reasons why I coach, is because it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the relationships. It's about connecting with kids and making lifelong memories and lifelong relationships with these kids, where it's getting 10 years down the road and they're still calling you and they're still wanting to be a part of your life. And that's what matters to me. I want to win as bad as anybody. But the most important thing to me is the kids and what kind of relationship and impact we can have on them.
That's awesome. We asked your players this. Now we're going to ask you, favorite Thanksgiving dish coming up?
I like pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Nothing like a pumpkin pie. Do you dress it up at all, whipped cream or ice cream?
You gotta have some whipped cream.
Whipped cream. There we go. Yes, sir. Your favorite basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Come on. That's an easy one.
That's easy.
Come on.
And
So
I am a Thunder fan.
Thunder fan. All right. So were you a Bulls fan growing up with
Yes.
them? Yeah, okay. That was easy too.
Hardcore Bulls fan.
There we go. My dad had these metallic trading cards of Michael Jordan. They were like mint edition, and sad thing is I don't know where they're at right now.
I had those too, and I don't know where any of my cards went.
Yeah.
I had a great collection of cards. Lost them.
My dad said, I don't gather any cards anymore, but these are the ones from when I was growing up. Don't lose them. I don't think I lost them, but I'm going to blame it on my brother. And our last one is always a fun one. Tell us about your favorite win in your coaching career to date.
So we talked about the rankings earlier. Whenever I was at Idabel, I have two favorite wins, and they both were at Idabel.
Okay.
So whenever I was
Alex
at
is
Idabel,
smirking. Do you know this?
Well, I know which one he's about to tell.
Oh,
it's not
let's
the one
go.
I thought he was going to
Sorry
say.
to interrupt you, Coach. I just saw Alex. He was
So-
smirking over here.
I've had a lot of fun wins.
Yeah.
The two that stand out the most are, well, I say Idabel. I forgot he had a game winner.
Yeah.
And so when we were at Rock Creek, that was a fun one too, because we had I don't know. Now you got me tripped up. So at Rock Creek,
Yeah.
we had a game against Fort Townsend, which we felt like we were a lot better than, but they were taking us down to the wire, and a big fight breaks out in front of their bench. We get it all broke up and everything, and then they had just hit a shot right before the fight, and so we're down, and there's like 4 seconds left, and he comes down and hits a 3 at the buzzer. So that's a pretty high ranking win for me.
Yes, sir.
My Idabel ones, I'll tell you that story because you mentioned the rankings earlier.
Right.
One of them was we weren't ranked, and part of the reason we weren't ranked is because in Idabel, whenever I had got there, they were playing a lot of Texas teams, or they were playing the 5A teams, McAlester and Ada was 5A at that time, Durant, and we could never get into the rankings, and I kept telling people we were good. Well, we went all year and never got in the rankings. So the next year I got into a Veneta tournament, which Veneta had just come off winning a state championship. It was an all-girls tournament, and I called them and told them how good we were, and they said, okay, you can come play, but we're not going to put you high seed in our tournament, and it's only girls, top-ranked teams are all there. I wanted to go so we could prove ourselves. We played Veneta at Veneta, and Veneta hadn't taken a loss on their home court in 5 years. Their entire school had gotten let out for this game. We had 2 fans up in the stands.
Oh,
And
wow.
They had a 5-year win streak on their home court that we busted. And it was a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock morning game, and we beat the number 1 ranked team, unranked, by 16 points on their home court.
Wow.
So that was a fun one. And then always those Broken Bow Idabel rivalries.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. So one of those games was my favorite too. So.
Coach, some pretty great stories that you've been able to share with us here today. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up here?
Really, really excited about this season, and really, really excited about our players. Got a great group of guys. They work really hard. I couldn't be more excited about the future of our program. We have a really good 8th grade group, really good 9th grade group, really good 10th grade group. So the future is really, really bright for McAlester.
Coach, we're excited to see it too. Thank you for stopping by, and we will see you December 3rd.
All right, thank you.
It's going to be at Tahlequah again, December 3rd. McAlester boys and girls basketball begins. First home game will be the 20th, and that will be at Pryor. So until next time, again, we're going to try to get wrestling next week. Until next time, guys, don't just have a great day, have a Buffalo day. This has been Brandon Green with head coach Mike Dooney with Running with the Herd, brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive.